Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chief Executive Officer of Carnival Corporation, Mr. Arnold Donald.
So good afternoon, everybody, and just welcome. We have a few people I'd like to recognize here, a few special guests with us today. Firstly, Carlo DeMarco from Fincantieri. Carlo, where are you? I can't see a thing. So please wave so everybody can see you. Fincantieri built this magnificent ship. There he is. Carlo's here representing Fincantieri, who built this beautiful ship. The ship left its birthplace in Italy just 2 months ago. And we also have here Adam Tihani and Bjorn Starbrotten, the designers of Nieuw Statendam, and many of our ships in the Carnival Corporation family. So Adam and Bjorn, would you please stand wherever you guys are? There they are. And we got a lot of guests here, guests from everywhere, from right here in Port Everglades, from Broward County, the U.S. Coast Guard. I want to welcome you all. And a very special welcome to the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Hubert Minnis of the Bahamas. And his Minister of Tourism, Dionisio de Aguiar. And their accompanying delegation. Guys, thank you for joining us. It's a real pleasure and honor to have you with us. Now, as President and CEO of Carnival Corporation, it's my very special privilege to recognize our leader, Mickey Arison, the Chairman of Carnival Corporation and PLC. Mickey, please. And his immediate supervisor, the person he reports to, his wife, Malin, his wonderful wife, Allison Anderson. So, Malin, thank you. Now, as you guys know, Mickey and his father, Tad, started Carnival Cruise Line almost 50 years ago, just down the road in Miami. And under his leadership, Carnival Corporation has become the largest leisure travel company in the world. The global cruise industry that exists today and the millions of people and employees all over the world is largely due to the vision and efforts of Mickey Arison. So I am personally grateful for your wisdom, Mickey, and guidance. And Mickey, we are all grateful for this amazing company and the industry that you've built. So thank you so much. Okay. Now we have a number of our other Carnival Corporation board members here. Jason Kahili, Deborah Kelly Ennis, and Laura Wow. Wave, guys, so everybody knows who you are. Give Laura a little special attention. She's on the comp committee. So anyway, I'd also like to recognize members of our leadership team that were able to make it today. Christine Duffy, President of Carnival Cruise Line. Christine. Jan Schwartz. Jan, President of Princess Cruises. And Stein Cruz, CEO of Holland America Group and Carnival UK. Stein. So this ship and his sister, Koningsdam, were in no small part conceived by Stein. And he also oversaw its construction and all that entails, along with Mickey and Bo Eric Blomquist of our corporate shipbuilding group. Congratulations, Stein. She's an absolute beauty, man. She's gorgeous. And then, of course, before now he was famous, even more famous, Orlando Ashford, President of Holland America. Where is he? He must be backstage or something. There he is, there he is. Yeah, come on, take a bow. Yeah, good. You know, Orlando has successfully led his team in creating an even higher level of energy in the Holland America brand, an even greater level of guest experience, and that includes many of the concepts that you'll find executed so well here on Nieuw Statendam. And he's also forged the great relationship with Oprah Magazine and the incomparable Miss Oprah Winfrey. So our godmother today. So well done, Orlando, well done. Now look, what a great day this is. We've just completed 3 days of Oprah's Girlfriends Cruise. And as one of the 57 men, but who's counting, that were on the cruise with more than 2,000 women, it was indeed an honor and a privilege to be included. And it was a lot of fun. In fact, the pajama party last night, it might just become a mainstay across the fleet. I'm not sure, but it could. It was truly fun, but I learned a lot. And at Carnival Corporation, our 9 world-leading cruise lines, our number one goal always is to exceed our guests' expectations. And Oprah, you certainly know how to exceed the expectations of your followers. You really do. I've never seen a happier group. I have never seen a happier group of faces getting on the ship like 4 days ago, or a sadder group of people disembarking this morning knowing it was over. Today, we're enjoying Holland America, but the Carnival Corporation also includes, and this is where Orlando says, you could have stopped here, also includes Princess, Seabourn, Cunard, P&O UK, P&O Australia, Costa, AIDA, and of course our namesake, Carnival Cruise Line. Every year, we sail to all 7 continents and more than 700 ports, powered by the energy and commitment of our 120,000 plus passionate, dedicated employees who hail from more than 140 countries. Anywhere you want to go in the world, anywhere you want to go, chances are we have a cruise that'll take you there. We believe that there has never been a better way to travel and see the world than by cruise. And Oprah, with your partnership, we've been able to introduce millions of new people to the idea of a cruise, and we thank you for that. Now, thank you guys. And I'm almost done. In the maritime industry, the naming of a ship is an important, almost sacred tradition. And choosing the godmother of a ship is not to be taken lightly. While it's a great honor, it's also an enormous responsibility. Now, the godmother of a ship is to bestow her blessings, her good luck, and her protection over the vessel and the millions of people she will carry in the coming years. The godmother is also a permanent member of the crew. She's a permanent member of the crew, you know. So Oprah, I hope you know that you are signing up for a lifelong commitment. So we appreciate that. And I also know that we could not have made a better choice for the godmother of this beautiful new ship. And I heard it said more than once, and you said it in at least one of your sessions on board, that people may not remember the things they bought or the gifts they were given, but they will definitely remember the experiences they share. So I invite all of you to look around, just take all of this in. I know you're all looking at Oprah, you can keep doing that too, but look around, take it all in. This is a remarkable experience that I know we will all always treasure. Ship christenings, even for those of us in the cruise business, are a very special event. And we are all blessed to be here together on this joyous day. We're truly living in a golden age of cruising. Perhaps there's never been a better time to cruise than right now. So Oprah, thank you. Thank you for joining our Carnival family. And thank you all for sharing this day with us. Thank you very much.
There is only one earth.
There is only one sky.
One water, one wind.
One light.
In our chest beats one heart.
一つの思い。
One spirit.
One soul.
One spark.
And although at times we are many,
Today let us come together
As one.
To unite in our differences and to celebrate our diversity.
to embrace compassion
and to embrace adventure.
On this most auspicious day, we welcome you all.
Andate in pace.
Assalamu alaikum.
Go in peace.
And Godspeed your journey.
And let us say,
Amen.
Ameen.
Amen.
Namandaps, namandaps, namandaps.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the President of Holland America Line, Orlando Ashford.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. How are we feeling? Very exciting day. Nearly half a century, an intention was born. To take people to new worlds, to have new experiences and explore new ideas. That is why Holland America Line was born. And that is the birthright of Nieuw Statendam. This marks the 6th time in our company's history a ship was born with the name Statendam. She is part of a time-honored tradition dating back to almost the beginning. Our very first Statendam was launched just 25 years after our company was founded. Our second served the British during World War I, carrying thousands of troops to the trenches of Europe. And Statendam 4 was the very first Holland America Line ship to carry passengers on a cruise around the world. It's this legacy of service and spirit of exploration that we are so proud of. And it's why we're continuing the Statendam name into our future. But more than just in a name, Nieuw Statendam is a celebration of promise and of hope. Because at Holland America Line, it has been our deepest faith that when people travel to new worlds and experience the truths of other cultures, the change they experience can make a meaningful impact on the society to which they return. The opening of minds and hearts, the building of new connections and insights, the busting of stereotypes and preconceived notions, all of these may be passed forward across generations. Our fundamental belief has always been that these ships are only the beginning, and the impact they have on the world is actually much bigger than the sum of their parts. The magic happens, of course, because it is human nature to want to connect and understand one another. Children come by this naturally, this drive to explore, learn, and willingly connect with the world. They're curious in an unbiased way. Oftentimes, life pulls us away from this natural instinct. But it is our ambition at Holland America Line to bring people back to what we're naturally created to do. And so, when given the opportunity, within the guiding safety of our ships, along with our officers and crew, our travelers flourish. And when they return home, the powerful gift of empathy is restored. The writer Anais Nin said, "We travel, some of us forever, to seek other places, other lives, other souls." That is why this ship is so much more than a collection of steel, glass, and wire. She is a vessel of hope for our best future and understanding of one another across this wild and wonderful world. I'm so proud to dedicate Nieuw Statendam to that higher purpose today. Now, every ship needs a leader, and we are so fortunate to have a great leader in our captain. To tell Nieuw Statendam's story from the beginning, the master of this beautiful ship from the Netherlands, Captain Siba de Boer.
So we built a ship, an extraordinary ship. But like every project, this one started with a very simple idea. a collective vision for how to propel Holland America Line into the future. It was simple: build a new Pinnacle-class ship. And that sounds easy, right? But that little thought started a process that would take years, involving thousands of people from all across the globe. First came the ship designers, the mathematicians, the engineers, and even the accountants, who took this simple concept and began to breathe life into it, adding cutting-edge innovations while keeping a watchful eye on what has always made us so special. And when every inch of the vessel was designed and thought through, it was time for the workers at the Fincantieri shipyard in Venice to cut the first steel. On Tuesday, July 12, 2016, was a major milestone. Our vision finally becoming real. Do you know how they build the ship? It's amazing, truly, because the same way that it takes thousands of people to collaborate on this project, that's the way a ship comes together. We build in segments, separate teams from all around Italy, build the bridge, the staterooms, and even this theater. And then, piece by piece, the welders, the electricians, and the plumbers fit it all together. Before I came on the Nieuw Statendam, I was on a different ship. And every time we called Venice, I'd rush to the window, take my binoculars, and watch my new home slowly taking form. And then, about a month before the Nieuw Statendam was finished, it was time. I boarded the plane and I flew from Amsterdam to Venice. And as we came in for landing, I could see the ship from the window. And she was spectacular and huge, but still mid-size. I couldn't believe it, how big she was, still mid-size. That same day, I got on board and walked the length of the ship and saw the Nieuw Statendam. I really saw her. Not the steel and the glass, or the decks, or the rooms, but the people, our people, working hand in hand with the builders from the shipyard to finish taking that original idea and turning her into this beautiful vessel. I'll never forget walking into the engine room. And I don't know if you have seen the engines, but they're 3 stories tall. And there are 4 of them. And I watched our teams cleaning them, prepping them, adjusting them, and ensuring that these massive machines could not only power our ship, but also power our commitment to a more sustainable world. And look, they say I'm pretty good at doing things at home. I can fix some stuff. But seeing the carpenters work in B.B. King's, or the workers laying the carpet, that was truly humbling. But there are 2 images I will never forget. First, there was an old man sitting in the back room, wearing goggles, holding what must have been 1,000 or more wires, and carefully connecting them, all, wire by wire. And there was a young woman walking the halls with a cart of paint, stopping to patiently mix the colors so that she could touch up every scratch, every smudge on the entire ship. That to me was the perfect example of what it takes. You know, the expertise, the passion, the skill to bring it all together. And on the final day before we sailed, the Fincantieri personnel came on board with their families. And I saw them showing their wives and children the work they did. I saw the pride on their faces as they sat in the lounges and took photographs of their children sitting in the captain's chair on the bridge. And that night, after they had all gone home, for the first time in a long time, I was left sitting on the bridge by myself. And in that moment, I felt my responsibility, our responsibility, to make sure that this ship and her crew are worthy of all their hard work, our hard work. And today, I feel we have done that. Together, we have built a ship, an extraordinary ship. And I'm grateful, privileged, and honored to be a small part of that. Thank you. Thanks.
Before a Holland-America Line ship even leaves the shipyard and ventures out on her journey, her officers and crew already represent the world. I come from the town of Constanza, near the Black Sea. And the minute I stepped on board, I was given the opportunity to work with people from places I had never even been. From the bustling cities of Philippines, small towns of Holland, to the English historic seaside and tropical paradise of Indonesia, we come from 42 countries, 512 towns and cities, and we speak 25 languages. This diversity is the very soul of Nieuw Statendam. And I'm sure you all agree that what gives life to a ship is her crew. And our crew is our family. My job as the environmental officer on board is to make sure that we are the most sustainable ship we can be. I'm often on board a few months at a time, and when it's time to go to Romania to see my family, it feels like a vacation. And then I come back on board, and it feels like I'm home. I see familiar faces, people that have shared amazing experiences with me, people from many cultures, speaking many languages. And the beautiful thing is that when you mix all these languages together, either it's English, Dutch, Tagalog, Bahasa, we get something uniquely our own. And that's the magic of working on Nieuw Statendam. This crew, my crew. And this wonderful extended family that I get to work with every single day. We learn from one another, we grow from one another, and we serve together. We are one crew, one family, with one mission, to show you the world. So welcome.
I was born on the island of Bali in Indonesia. My father is a farmer, and my mother took care of the children. My brother and sister went off to Jakarta to work, and I always thought I'd stay home, take care of my family, take care of the farm. But something happened. 9 years ago, I was working in a resort in Bali, and tragedy occurred. And that's when a friend suggested me to get a job with Holland-America Line. And I thought, why not? To be honest, I didn't really know what to expect. Maybe it would be a good job. I take care of my family, I take care of everything, and I'd have security. And all of that has happened, and it's also been so much more. Ever since my very first ship, I've seen parts of the world I truly never imagined. I've seen the ruin of Athens and eaten food of Rome. I've seen castles and temples and even gone shopping in Caribbean. I learned about dolphin and whales. I learned about volcanoes and canyons. And I've seen snow and glacier in Alaska. And it always makes me smile every time I think of it. And all before I turned 30 years old, I've sent my brother and sister to school. I've taken care of my family, and I bought a house for my parents to live in. And I'm very proud of it. And I even met my fiancé. He's from Canada, and I met him on his very first day on the ship at the Tamarind restaurant. I didn't even like him at the time. Yeah, but after all, we had our first date in Germany, and we're gonna get married in a couple months in Bali. Growing up, all of this was just for stories. It wasn't real, it's not for me. But now, one day, when I'm telling my children about the story of my life, I will tell them about Holland America Line. I will tell them about Nieuw Statendam. I will tell them about this, my new home on this amazing journey.
Thank you, Dee. I've got an inspiration now. Holland America Line, where you can see the world and find your true love. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Our officers and crew are the very lifeblood of our business. They're our strength and our vitality. They're what sets us apart and propels us forward. Our officers and our crew are the core connection to our guests, and are why, with so many choices that our guests have, they return to Holland America Line again and again and again and again. And I know this to be true because I read the emails, I read the letters that our guests send to us. Letter after letter after letter. They express literally their love for our guests, for our crew, for the entertainment, the restaurants, all the energy that we've been able to create on our ships. Ultimately, they are amazed by our service. But it's our officers and crew that our guests recognize, and they recognize them by name. They write us with notes, long lists identifying the individuals on board who have made their trip so special. And so you see the names here on the walls. These are the names that they're talking about. Our officers and crew are the people that make it all happen. And we would not be Holland America Line without them.
It is my privilege and honor to be here today representing the travel professional community. As a travel professional, my job is to help people explore the world. But I believe that it's not enough to stand apart and watch from a distance. You have to get up close and in person. You have to feel the warmth of the sun, or smell the food cooking on the grill, or touch the hand of a person you've never met before in a culture you've never experienced. Roughly 23 years ago, I began my journey selling travel. And yes, for those of you doing the math, I started at the age of 5. And in that same year, I was the top seller for Alaska in my organization. And as an award, Holland America Line sent me on a 7-night land trip to Alaska, Denali, and the Yukon. It was amazing. Look, I'm from Boston. Our snow-capped mountains are extremely different than the snow-capped mountains of Alaska. But it was more than just the snow-capped mountains or the clean, crisp air or the crystal blue water. It was that moment when all of it was everything I ever told the client or I read about Alaska or I saw in a magazine. It went from being 2-dimensional to 3-dimensional, and it was real, it was awesome, and no, it was wicked awesome, but it was in front of me, right? I could see it, I could taste it, I could touch it, and more importantly, I could experience this breathtaking place. It's no exaggeration that that trip changed my life. I went from having a job selling travel to making it my personal goal to help people explore the world. And today, I am very blessed and fortunate to help and support over 3,000 independent travel professionals around the country with one common goal. Together, we partner with Holland America Line to create opportunities for our clients. Opportunities for them to have experiences like I did, experiences that are close, personal, and connected. Experiences that they could not have had if they stood by the sidelines. Now, here's what's magical about cruising. After their day, after their experiences, they come back on board to a cohort, a community of travelers that had similar excursions. And maybe they're enjoying a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, and they start to share their story and their experiences. They amplify their personal change. And slowly, whatever mental model they have of what the world was like, or who there was to meet in it, or what is valuable on this earth, it's indelibly altered. But my favorite part is when they get back and you see it in their faces, and I could see that they were forever changed like I was. I know they will continue to share their extraordinary stories and help people make that same change. They will help people make the world a better place by traveling to new places, experiencing new cultures, and making those personal connections. In this way, Nieuw Statendam will be a tool of change. She will create new stories and new storytellers. And nothing is more noble than that. Thank you.
The most amazing place that I've visited has been Rome. We had a behind-the-scenes tour of the Vatican, and it was extraordinary. It was led by somebody who had spent his career working there at the Vatican, so could fill us with so many great stories and experiences that he had over the decades with the popes that were working there. And I've come to realize that's just something that I wouldn't be able to replicate if I was to travel any other way.
Our first shore excursion, we went up into the hills to a Spanish colonial coffee plantation. But being on the ground and walking there, it just was marvelous to me that I could actually almost go back in time.
I just think travel is such a great education, and so that's why we've always brought our son on trips with us. I think it's important for him to see how other kids live around the world, and so we would always go to parks and play with him, and he loves to bring all his toys along with him, and so he'd always have toys to share, and so we'd always find kids to play with, and even if they didn't speak the same language, they would play with their trucks together, and I just think that that's just great for his personal development to have those experiences.
You understand your place in the world better. You come into a port and you get to see the way the geography works. You get to see where the rivers come in. You get to see the people who are working in that port. It's immersing yourself in their daily lives and what their lives are like. And then you get to try to figure out what your place is in that environment. If you travel with an open mind, you learn more about yourself than you learn about anything else.
No music that time? No. In her 1993 book, Wouldn't Take Nothing for My Journey Now, one of our godmother's dear friends, Dr. Maya Angelou, said, "Perhaps travel cannot prevent bigotry, but by demonstrating that all peoples cry, laugh, eat, worry, and die, it can introduce the idea that if we try and understand each other, we may even become friends." Nieuw Statendam represents our highest aspirations for connection and understanding in our world. She is a vessel for exploration and adventure across countries, languages, cultures, and peoples. And we hope a source of joy for our guests for many, many years to come. Thank you for being here today to share in our celebration and for helping Holland America Line continue in our own small way to creating this one world. Thank you. Okay, so now it's time. I have the distinct honor to welcome the Nieuw Statendam's godmother. Yes, you're a godmother, the one and only Oprah Winfrey.
Yes.
a godmother to something more than Gail's children. This is wonderful. May I just say, I think everything that you've said is absolutely true, Orlando. I think that this vessel represents hope, but what I have seen in the past 3 days and in our journey before to Alaska, that it represents a different kind of celebration. I will tell you, as I've shared with audiences these past several days, I have the most blessed, extraordinary life of anybody that I know that's living on the planet Earth. And I marvel at my own life, and I pride myself on being genuinely present for most of my life experiences, because I think that the presence that you can offer to anybody in any given moment is the greatest gift that you can give. And I've seen a lot of things. I've interviewed at the end of the Oprah show after 25 years. I think the total number of people that I'd had one-on-one, face-to-face contact with in interviewing was 4,561 people. That's why I tell my daughters, you need to pay attention if I tell you something, because I'm the only person you ever meet to talk to 4,561 people. And in all of those experiences of 25 years, there's so many that stand out. But this past 3 days will certainly be one that I will cherish and will live with me forever. I've actually never seen anything like what we experienced these past 3 days. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm sure that it also happened in Alaska, but it somehow felt different because it was warm here. And, but I've actually never seen anything like the diversity represented on every level. Diversity in age. The youngest person on board was 6, and the oldest person was 93. There were 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds mingling and dancing on the dance floor with 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds, and the 93-year-old who I gave 2 tequila shots to last night. I've never seen anything like the diversification in the colors, in the ranges of life experiences, in the economic status, and where people have come from all over the country and many all over the world. I've actually never seen anything like it. And what was so remarkable about it is that everybody gathered, made friends, was friendly with, and connected to people whom they didn't know, but left with people's phone numbers and information because they felt like they'd met themselves on some level. I've never seen anything like it. And I think that's what you do best. It represents hope, but it also represents the celebration of the self. And as I've said to all of the women who were a part of this journey and the 57 men who were lucky enough to share in it, who I said, the men is going to pay off for months to come. You will be reaping the benefits for months to come. It was indeed a celebration. And I have to thank our publisher of Oprah Magazine, Jane, stand up, Jane Jameson. And our editor-in-chief, Lucy Kalin, stand up, who are always presenting ideas to me. And because I've reached a stage in my life, I only do exactly what I want to do. A lot of those ideas I say no to. But when Jane first came up with this idea, I was like, Jane, why do I want to go on a cruise with a bunch of women? What do I want to do that for? And she explained how it would be exactly what it has become, this grand celebration of what we represent and try to do, bringing hope and insight and self-empowerment and self-improvement into women's lives, and creating this gathering space for everybody to come together of one mind and celebrate themselves, honor themselves, and to also honor each other. And it has turned out to be one of the best things I've ever done. So thank you so very much. I want to say thank you to Orlando. I mentioned this in the one of the first engagements I did, I don't know, feels like it's a week ago, that he is a great leader, but what will now remain in my mind forever, aside from the Hugh Hefner pajama jacket you wore last night, at the pajama party. It's two things going to remain in my mind forever. Can't get over that Hugh Hefner jacket. Is that when I came on board, I brought my family here, and I think I brought like 9 family members. Say, hey, family. And my cousin Alice, who's been taking care of me since I was a little girl, is in her 70s now. And, you know, she'd never been on a cruise like this before. And so she's got all this luggage, and she had all these things. And Orlando doesn't know my family from anybody else's family, and he's standing there greeting everybody. And my cousin Alice in her 70s, who's usually carrying a bag of almonds and emergency to hand out to everybody. If you're on the crew, you probably have received some if you did anything for her. Says, young man, come. Can you help me with my things here? I got too many things. Could you help me? Young man, come here. And the young man is Orlando. So the young man, Orlando, helps my cousin Alice with her luggage and literally gets in the elevator with her and trying to help her get to her room. And she tries to tip him $1. And he says, no, ma'am, I can't take it. You can't take it, it's $1. Because Alice grew up when a quarter was a lot, you know? So, and he says, I can't take it. And she says, no, I work here and I don't want to take it. And she says, well, what you do here? And he has to tell her that he's a president. Okay. So that is my favorite story. You have a president who helps people in the elevator with their luggage. I love that. I also love the fact that when I was on board before, we had the most beautiful butler, server, caretaker, do everything you even want. If you want a lemon, there he is. If you want I think I want avocado toast, there it is. I'm thinking of a cappuccino, there it arrives. Mikey, are you in here somewhere? Stand up. The best. The best. The best. You know, lots of people get served, but you know when somebody, it's in their spirit and their soul, and they do it with such love. So that's what you do, and you make us all feel, everybody who's been touched by you. I often say what Maya taught me, your legacy is every life you touched. I now am a part of your legacy because you've touched my life. Thank you. So it's been an incredible experience just to watch all of these women interact with each other, to see people from all across the country and different parts of the world come with this common bond. Part of the common bond, you know, I haven't actually been on the air. I ended the Oprah show after 25 years. I ended the show in 2011. So we're coming up on 8 years of me not being on the air. But what I said to the audience yesterday, the reason everybody feels so familiar to everybody is because it's an audience of people that I literally raised. And so the common ground in the human experience that everyone shares is that you know that if you have signed up for the Oprah Cruise, you're signing up because you have a certain value system. That person already is in agreement spiritually, emotionally with you in the act of living a life that is always moving forward towards self-improvement, self-betterment, self-empowerment. So I want to thank everyone aboard this cruise ship who contributed to making that not just a fantastic experience, but something extraordinary that people will take home and cherish for the rest of their lives. And it will reside in the way they were treated, in every towel that was folded in the shape of an elephant or hippopotamus, whatever that was. On the bed when I came in. What is this? It will reside. Because my cousin Alice like, I'm gonna take this home. No, you can't take the towels. It will reside in the way you all as staff and crew made us feel. So thank you so very much. And as I was walking the hallways, which is kind of hard because now everybody has a camera, and so it's like constantly being in a parade. But as I was walking the hallways this morning, everybody was screaming at me, when are we gonna do it again, Oprah? When are we gonna do it again? Where are we going? So I say that to you, Orlando, when are we gonna do it again? Come on up, Orlando. Where are we going next?
Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? We can go. All right, it's that time. It is that time. So we're going to bring you here.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get in position.
Yes.
Yeah, they're in position.
I was feeling really good about it until Arnold talked about all the responsibility I now have.
It was in the fine print. It's in the fine print. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Responsibility. So I'm ready.
There we go. Let's get
Ready?
the captain up here too.
Captain? It's beautiful. I didn't know the captain actually oversaw the ship. It's beautiful. While it's being made. Okay, here it's time. So I, Oprah Winfrey, name this ship Nieuw Statendam. May God bless her and all who sail on her.
All right.
The Nieuw Statendam!
There. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm a godmother!
Congratulations. You're a godmother.
All right. We're going this way.
Yeah, we're going to take one picture.
We're going to take pictures.